morning. Happy Friday. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. This is just a happy song.
And I'm trying to shake it off.
So, since Taylor Swift has been in the news because she shockingly, not so much, said that she doesn't support the president.
Actually, if you just were looking at it on paper, the fact that Kanye is supporting the president and that Taylor Swift is not is a total 180, I mean,
because she's a white girl and he's not?
Because she's a white girl who started off doing sort of country music, which tends to be much more conservative.
Because I think she's from Tennessee, isn't she?
Yeah, and she's from a red state, and Kanye is an urban rapper, African American, and so just think the stereotypes, right? They're both busting the stereotype. Kanye was crazy yesterday. Did you see that interview?
No, I didn't.
Oh, Erin, you missed.
Was it all over the place?
Yeah, well, it's Kanye, right? I mean,
he's kind of a stream of consciousness guy.
He is, and so much of what he said, I'm like trying to keep up with it. Like I'm like not sure where he was headed.
Okay. In all fairness, and this is not in a disparaging way of saying this at all. I think the man is bipolar.
No, I think he might have some mental illness. I think that's clear. You look at all of the various wild behavior that he's exhibited.
Yeah, he's erratic.
Yeah,
he's erratic, and when you're in a manic phase, you feel like you're the smartest person. You feel like that what you say makes complete sense. You have an overinflated opinion of where you fit in the world, and I honestly think the man is bipolar. Now, is that to say that he doesn't have a right to political opinion? Of course not. Yeah. But I'm looking at his behavior, and in my uneducated opinion, because I'm not a psychologist, I think that there's stuff going on there. Yeah, no,
there's definitely something going on there. So let me just tell you a little bit about the interview yesterday. So Kanye West did lunch with President Trump Thursday, but he preempted the meal with a wildly entertaining and decidedly bizarre press conference in which he covered Superman, the 13th and Second Amendments, North Korea, and his budding MAGA bromance with the commander-in-chief. West began the much-anticipated sit-down by praising Trump's efforts in North Korea, saying, "On day one, you solved one of Obama's biggest problems. We solved one of the biggest problems." Wow. Okay, the conversation turned to West discussing the lack of support he received from his Hollywood cohorts with regard to his support of the president. "They tried to scare me to not wear this hat," West said, referring to his Make America Great Again hat that he wore to the meeting and on a recent appearance of Saturday Night Live. He says, "When I put on that hat, it makes me feel like Superman, my favorite superhero. You made a Superman cape for me?" Right? I mean, he's just going on and on. The rapper went on to chastise the NBC sketch show and other liberal-leaning media members for their portrayal of the American president. "What I need SNL and liberals to improve on is, if you don't look good, we don't look good." And he's pointing at Trump when he said that. "He has to be the freshest, the flyest, have the flyest planes. He has to look good," West said. "When we make everything in China and not America, we're cheating on our country." West discussed many topics in a rambling dialogue that included everything from bringing manufacturing to the country, his personal business deals, and ending stop and frisk in Chicago and the 13th Amendment. There's a lot of things that affect our mental health, and that put us into this trapdoor that is the 13th Amendment. Now, he said before he'd like to see the 13th Amendment abolished. He says we don't need it anymore.
I think his point is we shouldn't abolish the 13th Amendment. No, we shouldn't do that. But I think his point is that we're not in chains anymore. There's nobody, for him, and he's an African-American man, he's saying, "I'm not in chains. Look at me."
Yeah. Yeah.
There's, and what he's saying is, I don't need that. I'm not in chains. I'm not oppressed. I'm okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's what he's trying to say.
I think you're right, but it's one of those things that a lot of people find kind of disturbing.
Well, I can understand that.
He went on to reference his recent bipolar disorder diagnosis.
So he is bipolar.
But he said that he was misdiagnosed by a doctor and said that he was merely sleep-deprived, Erin.
Yeah, I don't know
He's
that's
just
true.
Tired.
I think I'm inclined to believe his doctor. Now, does that mean that his opinions are invalid? No, it doesn't mean his opinions are invalid. He supports the president. Good for him. Yeah. And if he wants to wear a MAGA hat, it's a free country.
Hey, crazy people get to vote too, Erin.
Well, don't dismiss him. No, here's the thing. We cannot say that we want to remove the stigma of mental health and then call him crazy, right?
Yeah.
We can say, all right, so his reactions at this point are stronger than they should be.
Yeah.
And his perception may be a little distorted, but he has a right to his political opinions. He has a right to
sure.
support whatever politician he wants to.
Sure.
And if he wants to wear a MAGA hat, like I said, it's a free country.
Yes. And in that free country, we get to belittle each other and make fun of each other's craziness to score points and get ratings. I see it happen all the time, Aaron, all the time.
Well,
in fact, other shows, in response to what Kanye did yesterday, called him some stuff that would just make you blush. It would make you blush. I heard one. I think Don Lemon is the one
on CNN.
Yeah, on CNN, and referred to him as a minstrel. Said that
would be minstrel, not menstrual.
Yes, and he said Kanye West is what happens when Negroes don't read. I'm sorry. That was said on CNN. And so.
Well, yeah, Don Lemon's on CNN.
Yeah. And but imagine if somebody like Ben Carson had said that, or somebody affiliated with, the Trump campaign had made a comment like that. People would be up in arms, but it was just sort of brushed over, like, oh, whatever.
Well, so the African American community, I know is seeing the stuff that Kanye is doing as a slap in their face, and I understand why they see it that way. The challenge is that we live in a free country, and people are free to believe what they want to believe.
Well, the interesting thing for me is to see what's really happening in the African American community in this next election. Trump has basically said that Kanye's support has caused African American support for Trump to go up. Right, and he gave the number 25%, which I think is probably a big exaggeration. But I would be interested to see if there are more African Americans who have an open mind about Trump. Certainly, he had very low African American support in the last election, and to see if it's trending in a different direction would be interesting to me, and to wonder how much of that is influenced by Kanye.
So, a lot of very creative people are also. Have also diagnosed mental illness.
Yes.
A lot of very creative people are bipolar. And so he's in good company. We shouldn't be dismissive. He's a human being deserving of respect.
Yeah.
And we all have the right to our own opinions.
Yes.
So
one of the areas that he and his wife Kim Kardashian West have been sort of lobbying President Trump on is
it's criminal justice reform.
Criminal justice reform. And it appears that it's working, because you know that Trump has already pardoned this one person that Kim Kardashian West brought to him.
That was the woman in Chicago who was actually running a crack ring. She was a drug lord, but she was in her 80s or 70s, and so he pardoned her.
Yes. Yes.
Or at least commuted her sentence.
But apparently now Trump is making statements that he is on board with this, and they're giving credit to his son-in-law as well for sort of helping to bring him around on this.
Jared Kushner.
And he's saying that he will override Jeff Sessions, who has been trying to stymie this criminal justice reform, and that Trump wants to make this sort of a major push after the midterm elections. And I'll tell you why I think he's saying this. Because I think he knows that they're going to lose the House, and so he's trying to do what we'll call triangulating, picking an issue that the other side likes, right, and then trying to put your signature on it so that he can become the criminal justice president who reformed the system, Yeah,
the Democrats aren't going to give that to him. They're still going to take credit.
Yeah.
Because they've been fighting and screaming and yelling about this for years.
Yeah, but if he signs the law.
That's true.
Right? If he signs the law, he's going to have his name's on it too, But it's going to be fascinating to see what happens there. But I think this is going to be a big issue, come January. You're going to see a big push for criminal justice reform.
There needs to be reform, but that doesn't mean – so, and I'll just tease this, or I'll just mention this, and then we have to go to break. It seems in California, the state of California, which of course is different, but in the state of California, our governor has gone completely overboard in the other direction.
Yeah, no, they have. But I just think it's interesting that the face of this movement is going to be Kanye and Kim Kardashian. That's really funny to me.
It seems unreal, doesn't it? So with that, it's time for a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we will be right back.
If you're looking for a full or part-time sales position and you have radio, TV, or print media experience, KCAA has a great opportunity waiting for you that pays the highest commissions in the market. KCAA is the only station in the IE that broadcasts on 3 frequencies, so advertisers receive 3 ads for 1 low rate. This makes KCAA a must-buy for every local business. If you're interested in a sales position with us, email ceo@kcaaradio.com.
So, you want to be in show business. Do people tell you that you're really funny, you have a great personality, and you should have your own talk show? Many of us have been told that, but we don't know how to get started. It's easier than you think. Let the pros at Cali Vegas give you a free talent evaluation. Call 949-445-1119 and learn how quickly you can create, produce, and host your very own talk show. Imagine not having to sit in traffic every day, commuting back and forth to the same old boring job. Get started in television or radio today with your free talent evaluation from Cali Vegas. Call 949-445-1119 or visit them online at calivegas.com. Make your dream come true today and create your new career and learn how to become a television or radio star with the help of Cali Vegas. 949-445-1119. Call now.
We had a flood of veterans coming home and ending up homeless.
Retired Marine Jeff Brighton from Redlands.
When James Ramos got involved, everything changed. As county supervisor, James has found housing for homeless veterans, helping hundreds of local vets get the shelter and support they needed to get back on their feet.
James Ramos worked across party lines to balance the county budget while doing more to help local veterans attack the homeless crisis and expand career and skills training.
James has been instrumental in helping obtain funding for programs that support veterans. James is very passionate when he takes on a cause. It's not for political gain, it's because he truly believes. I believe that James is going to continue to fight for the veterans and ensure that the resources are available to them that they need. James Ramos has always stood with veterans. That's why veterans like me are standing with James Ramos for Assembly.
Paid for by James Ramos for Assembly 2018.
We can't be everything to everyone, or can we? The station that leaves no listener behind, KCAA.
You'll say we've got nothing in common. No common ground to start from, and we're falling apart.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on The Brink, the morning show on KCAA. So glad to have you with us, and I know I always say that, but I am so glad to have you with us this morning, or if you're listening on a podcast, that you chose to listen to our podcast. All the ways there are many ways you can listen to this show, and every show on KCAA. You can listen to us on 102.3 FM, 106.5 FM, and 1050 AM in the Inland Empire. You can listen to us at KCAAradio.com. With the TuneIn app, you can listen to us on your phone or in your car or online. You can also listen to podcasts on iHeart. Not all the podcasts on the station, but definitely this one. We are the morning show on the Brink on iHeart and the KCAA morning show on TuneIn. That was a decision made by station management. So we are on the Brink, the morning show. So any combination thereof, you'll find us.
Brink on mornings
Yeah, so exactly. That's really, Tobin?
You said any combination, so
You take me literally.
now I'm trying to think of some weird anagram with those letters, like it's just random letters typed in. Oh my God.
Okay.
I found the show.
There is a story from Reason Magazine that has really been getting a lot of buzz about this student, or these two students at UC Davis. And this hit home to us because our niece went to UC Davis.
Yep.
And it's a really great school. She really had a great time there. She still lives up there. So James and that's not his real name, a freshman at UC Davis, was on his way to math class when he received an email that would derail his life for the next few months. The university's Title IX office, which handles sexual misconduct disputes, and that's between students, was investigating a complaint against him. This was in February of 2018, at a time of heightened public attention with the problem of predatory men. This is the Me Too, Harvey Weinstein, or Weinstein, Al Franken, Louis C.K., all of those people. Not a good time to get accused of this stuff. The email from the Title IX compliance officer went into great detail about the seriousness of James's situation. He would be investigated in accordance with the university's sexual assault and sexual violence policies, as well as the student code, which covers physical assault, threats of violence, and conduct that threatens health and safety. A finding of responsibility could result in suspension or expulsion. So you think about how hard you work to get into a university like UC Davis.
Very exclusive, difficult to get into college.
Exactly. And so, and then you think about how afraid this young man must have been. James knew Becky, also not her real name, and they'd been classmates in a drama class, and very briefly they'd been friends. On the evening of October 20th, 2017, they met up with some other friends to play some music, eventually finding themselves alone in Becky's dorm. They kissed for a few minutes and engaged in some light sexual touching before the other students interrupted them. In James' view, the encounter had not only been fully consensual, it was mutual. Becky bore just as much responsibility for initiating it as James. And as Becky would later make clear to the investigator, she had also touched him sexually. She explicitly described her own actions in her official statement, so she wasn't misrepresenting anything on that front. Becky's account of the incident set forth in the summary of her investigative interviews does not, on its face, allege an act of prohibited conduct, according to James's attorney. Even if everything Becky alleges is true, my client clearly did nothing wrong and did not engage in prohibited conduct. And yet the investigation continued until the 1st of May, at which point the Office of Student and Judiciary Affairs finally concluded that James was innocent. Even so, Becky was afforded the opportunity to appeal the decision, consistent with university policy as dictated by the Obama administration's Education Department, which had obligated college administrators to give accusers the option of appealing adverse findings if they granted this right to the accused. So essentially, she had invited him in, and they got a little busy, and, she had second thoughts.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly, as the investigation continued, that's exactly what it showed, that she had apparently got a couple hickeys from it. And some people made some comments about the hickeys that made her feel embarrassed. I'll call it what it is. I think she was probably slut-shamed a little bit, that people made her, feel bad about that. And so then she began to reinterpret it, right, that she didn't want this, that he did this to her. Right?
Yes.
And so she went and filed this claim, and this claim turned his life upside down.
And cost his family $12,000 in legal fees.
Yes. Now, his tuition at the school is $16,000 a year, and so, it's almost another year's tuition that he had to pay just to cover himself, to have lawyers to make sure that he didn't, get expelled and have all kinds of other bad things happen. And at one point in the process, they're going through this, he'd gone out of his way to avoid her, right, during this time, but he was at the gym, and they made eye contact or something at the gym, and then he got some sort of warning after that as well, and just for making eye contact with her, basically, So this whole process was really kind of skewed, and again, he was found completely innocent, but the article goes through this process of how she talked to several different people afterwards and began to sort of reevaluate what had happened.
Right. And apparently her mom was like, well, he was too forceful with you,
Yeah.
And at one point, so during the course of the evening, I'm not going to go get into the nitty gritty, except to say the one time that maybe he was being a little forceful with her, she told him and he backed off and it was okay. They're just a couple of kids, and, she set the boundary and he followed the boundary.
Yeah, well, and apparently in their friendship prior to this little hookup, they had numerous conversations about their sexual histories, and had a whole bunch of others. So this wasn't, they had a lot of pre-conversation about sort of things that they have done or what they were interested in doing. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It wasn't like they just showed up having never met each other and just started going at it. You know, these kids had quite a bit of buildup.
So I don't understand why a university should investigate this kind of activity. If you were sexually assaulted, you need to go to the police.
Yeah.
But a kangaroo court at a university, they're not law enforcement. They're not attorneys. Yeah. I'm actually surprised that he was allowed to have a lawyer, because at many colleges, you're not allowed. There's no due process right afforded to the accused, only to the accuser. And so, you know, maybe there was a lawsuit in California that changed that for the UC system. But I think that what happened to James is unconscionable. And honestly, with Becky was pretty transparent. You know, people had told her you need to go to the authorities, go to the authorities. And so she was transparent about her story. So I'll give her that. You know, she didn't say, she told them that that it was mutual.
Yeah.
You know, up to the point. You know, I don't want to minimize I don't want to demonize her.
Yeah. Had she gone to the police though, I think the police would have told her, well, there's nothing that we can investigate here. Nothing. You know, none of this rises to a criminal level.
That's the issue. That's why it should be done. That's why law enforcement should be involved and not a kangaroo court at a university.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why and I agree with you. I think the cops would have said, well, you know, put some makeup on it.
Yeah.
You know, because you were obviously into it.
Yeah.
I'm frustrated. Well, I'm frustrated because when I posted this article, and everybody has been talking about it, so when I posted this article online, people say, oh, Reason Magazine, they're just a right-wing rag, and they didn't even get her opinion on this and all of that. And the reason why they didn't ask her for her information was because they didn't want to trigger her into filing charges against or trying to do something against James. They didn't want to, and they say this, they talk about that they didn't want to cause her any more undue stress.
Yeah. So interestingly, at the end of this situation, after their little hookup, she said that she asked him. She says, "What do you think happened back there?" And he says to her, he thought he had made out with the cool girl from his drama class. And then she continued the conversation, saying that she was getting this friends with benefits vibe from James, and to which he agreed. And they then proceeded to discuss the terms of such a relationship. They agreed to keep it secret from their other drama class friends and not to have penetrative sex or oral sex, and that it was Becky's preference that they stick to quote-unquote hand stuff, right? And they discussed getting James' roommate to leave so that they could have some private time. Now, this is not a conversation you've had with somebody who you think is just done something horrible to you.
No. That's
right?
You tell your sexual assaulter, okay, this is my term. These are my terms.
Yeah, and we're going to meet up again later and do these things. No, you don't do. I mean, and so I think that when that stuff comes forward, it becomes very, very clear that all of this was consensual, and that she essentially had buyer's remorse.
Yeah, buyer's remorse does not mean you had sexual assault. You were sexually assaulted.
Yeah,
it's you can't. And people say one person actually idiotically said that well, she obviously something happened to her because she was willing to stand up and go through the process of the investigation. Oh my gosh, so he's supposed to be a mind reader?
Yeah, right.
He's supposed to be a mind reader and a fortune teller because he has to know that in the future she's going to regret what she did and file charges. Come on, that's ridiculous.
So, I think back to my own college career, and I had some times when I was at parties where I had been, and I don't think these kids had been drinking, but I'd been at parties where drinking was involved, and you hook up with somebody, and then later when you're more sober, you kind of look back and think, boy, was that...
Why did I do that?
Yeah, right? But never to the point where I would, think to myself, oh, I'm going to go get that person in trouble, right? And so the idea that people are getting people in trouble when they've had some sort of second thoughts later, that bothers me extremely,
Yes. So with that, let's take a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are On the Brink, the morning show on KCAA. We'll be right back.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, K292FQ Riverside, and K293CF Moreno Valley.
NBC News Radio, I'm Lisa Carter. Embattled Washington, D.C. Archbishop Donald Wuerl is resigning. Pope Francis announced this morning that he's accepted the Cardinal's resignation after months of controversy. Wuerl is under scrutiny for his role in the handling of sex abuse cases involving priests when he was the Bishop of Pittsburgh. Search and rescue crews continue to look for survivors of once Hurricane Michael. The monster storm made landfall near Lisa Cat 5, causing widespread devastation in the Florida Panhandle. This Panama City man saying,
"If I knew it was going to be a Cat 4 with a direct hit, never would have stayed."
At least 11 deaths now blamed on the storm. And the city of Chicago is expected to file a lawsuit today against Attorney General Jeff Sessions and the Department of Justice for denying funding to sanctuary cities. The Sun-Times reports the suit claims the feds have withheld funds this year based on new and unlawful immigration enforcement requirements. Lisa Carter, NBC News Radio.
California headline news. A man has been arrested after allegedly exposing himself to a young girl and touching her at a Moreno Valley mall this week. Security guard Eddie Puga says the girl's mother notified him about the incident and he confronted the suspect, Juan Alvarez.
Honestly, I was trying to keep my composure, trying to be professional. I wanted to beat him. I really wanted to hurt this guy.
Video shows the mother walking with her child through a store with Alvarez following them. 34-year-old David Gonzalez of Madera has been charged with felony assault with great bodily injury after punching a man twice in the parking lot of Levi's Stadium last Sunday. The 33-year-old victim remains in critical condition. And San Francisco Travel is projecting a record number of visitors and tourism spending in 2018, but concerns about what's happening on the city's streets is a cause for concern moving forward. Recent news coverage of dirty streets and car break-ins could cost the city.
Obviously, we want people to come here, have a positive experience, enjoy themselves, feel safe, walk down clean streets, and they're feeling that's not the case.
Steve Clausen, California News.
Fans getting ready for a little fire and ice as two pro leagues head into action.
It's this week's Geico Sports Now.
Excitement building as the puck is about to drop for real in pro hockey. Meantime, the sound of basketballs swishing through nets can be heard in just about every arena as pro basketball's preseason is in full swing. With so many players changing teams, it's giving hope to all us fans. Let the games begin.
Geico could assist you in saving lots of money on your car insurance. Simply go to geico.com for more information.
A good night's sleep starts with the right pillow. That's where MyPillow comes in, and we're excited to announce the new 4-pack special. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the 4-pack special tab, and save 50% off the 4-pack, which includes 2 MyPillow premiums and 2 Go Anywhere pillows. Call 1-800-266-4719. That's 1-800-266-4719. Take advantage of this limited time offer. Go to MyPillow.com now. Click on the 4-pack special tab and use promo code COMFORT at checkout.
California headline news. Boaters sailing off the California coast are being warned to give whales their space. Jeff Chester with the conservationist group Oceana says humans need to respect the habitat of wildlife.
This is the primary time they need to be focusing on getting enough food to eat, and the last thing they need on top of all the other threats they're facing is to be disturbed.
The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration issued a social media warning after a photo went viral showing a kayaker extremely close to a humpback whale. Steve Clausen, California News.
It's time for traffic on KCAA. I'm Erin Brinker. In Corona on the 91 westbound after McKinley Street, a wreck has been moved over to the right shoulder. Also in Corona on the 91 westbound before the 71, a crash has moved now to the right shoulder. I can't talk this morning. Moved over to the right shoulder there as well. This has been your traffic report, sort of, on KCAA. We are the stations that leave no listener behind. I'm Erin Brinker.
From the KCAA Weather Center, I'm Alvin Washington. Sunny this morning, a high of 84. Chance of showers this evening, low of 59. More showers Saturday, strong winds, a high of 75. I'm Alvin Washington, broadcasting live from the Tri-City Center at the 10 and 210 freeways. We are the trifecta of talk in Southern California, KCAA, 102.3 FM, Riverside, 106.5 FM, Redlands, and The Legacy, 1050 AM, Loma Linda, San Bernardino.
Drivers, when it's time to visit the DMV, avoid the long lines and save time by calling toll-free 833-DMV-LINE. That's 833-DMV-5463. KCAA, where every day is a great day.
happy. I'm poor, but I'm kind. I'm short, but I'm healthy. Yeah. I'm high, but I'm grounded. I'm sane, but I'm overwhelmed. I'm lost, but I'm hopeful, baby. And what it all comes down to is that everything's gonna be fine, fine, fine. 'Cause I've got one hand in my pocket and the other one is giving a high five.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
This is the 90s girls anthem. For all of us who were in our 20s in the 1990s, this was our song.
You rock it, girl.
So glad to have you with us this morning, and so excited to welcome back Lori Butler from Feeding America. She is their Chief Development Officer. Joined Feeding America IE pretty recently, and we've had her on a couple of times, and here to talk about hunger in the Inland Empire. Lori Butler, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
So tell us about, you're coming up to your busy time when people remember that we need to provide food for others. So tell us how you're gearing up for the holidays.
Oh, goodness. We are partnering with so many people. One of our new partners in December will be the Barron's Market. It's a specialty market out of San Diego, and they have a store out in the Murrieta Moreno Valley on that highway out that way. People can come in and give at the register. We're partnering right now, finishing up partnering with Albertsons, and we'll be partnering with Stater Brothers. One of the really cool things that we're doing, and people can contact me at Feeding America, is that our main partner, Bank of America, for people who want to give a gift up to $1,000, starting, I believe I can do it now for people. Bank of America will not only they will match the donation, they will double the donation. So, for example, say, Erin, if you were to pledge $1,000 through me through Bank of America during this time frame, it would be equal to $3,000.
Holy smokes!
Right, and do you know what that would provide? That would provide up to and would help us at Feeding America provide up to 27,000 meals.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow, that's wonderful. And how long is that drive going on?
It goes until the money runs out. And so it's a big push in October, and we can match up to, I believe it's $50,000. And so the ultimate end of it is we have a potential for those who want to make a major contribution during this season of giving, Thanksgiving and the upcoming holidays. We can potentially raise as much as $75,000, which is, and it goes all, Erin, as you know, we've talked about it before, it all goes pretty much straight to program. 98% of all the cash that we take in goes right to program, feeding people.
Wow. Well, and we all know that there are distributors, because you don't give to the public, you give to churches and food banks and soup kitchens and smaller food distribution organizations and larger food distribution organizations, right. And the food is just flowing during the holidays because people want to give.
Right. Our biggest challenge is our warehouse is always full of food. But we need the funds and the staff to transport it out. We cover the entire Inland Empire, giving out millions of pounds of food, and we do that all with 27 staff members.
Wow!
In other areas, say North Texas Food Bank, I was on the phone with them the other day. They have 37 people just in their marketing and outreach department, and we have just 27 people doing all the work for 2 counties for the entire Inland Empire. I'm extremely proud to work there with these people. They're extremely efficient, extremely dedicated. We get up in the dark hours and we start working in the warehouse before 7 a.m. each morning, so that we're prepared when those agencies that you spoke of arrive to pick up their orders. And it's so interesting. You mentioned some of the regular places that people think of that people go for food, but I live up in Lake Arrowhead, and I was surprised. I was sitting down having a conversation at a business meeting, and lo and behold, one of the directors for Doves, it's a domestic violence shelter in Big Bear, said, "You're Lori Butler. You work at Feeding America. We just partnered with you, and we are now able to feed all these women and children and some men who've been victims of domestic violence because you exist." And so we're helping more than just that. Yeah, I was just out this Wednesday at a school, an elementary school in San Bernardino, and every kid went home. This is our own program that we do. Went home with 10 to 20 pounds of fresh produce, and I had so much joy handing out lemons, and the kids, to see their faces on a Friday, and they're going home with this healthy food to be part of caring for their own families. And you can just see the joy on their faces. They're running through the hallways with these bags of produce. It just brings so much joy and comfort to know that those kids are going to have some nutritious meals for the next week.
That's huge. There are neighborhoods in San Bernardino and other cities where if the kids are fed at school, and that's when they eat. So on the weekends, they don't necessarily have food to eat. And certainly not, if they do have food, they don't have enough food.
Yeah, well, Aaron, the report, I forget which of our major national magazines it came out that it does every year, where the top 10 cities or the top 200 cities to live in are, and guess what? The city of San Bernardino made the 10 worst cities again, and there's an asterisk next to its ranking, and it's because so many people in the city of San Bernardino and the surrounding areas are living so far below the poverty level. And I live here, and I want to challenge people to do something about it. We don't need to be on the 10 worst cities. This is a great place to live, and we need to just pitch in, get our people the food assistance and the basic needs assistance a hand up so they can get out of that poverty level. And I know we can do it, and we can do it quickly if we all pitch in, and not just at this holiday time, but throughout the year. People are hungry, unemployed, facing medical crises, going through perhaps bad divorces, things that leave them really financially strapped and wondering where their next meal is going to come from. I see a lot of families in our communities, when they don't have money or they have very little, they will buy food, but they'll be feeding their children top ramen and pancake mix and cereal and sugar-laden foods. And when a child's and a family's going through a rough time, that's when they need nutritious, healthy food to keep them going. They shouldn't be forced to be, buying cases of top ramen.
Right. Which has no nutrition at all. I mean, there's nothing. It fills your belly, but it doesn't feed your feed your body.
Right. There's families, Aaron, where kids are made to drink water, or they drink water just so their bellies will feel full over the weekend until they get back to school on Monday and can get that free breakfast and that lunch. And these parents aren't doing that intentionally. They're trying to keep a roof over their children's heads.
So let's talk about volunteer opportunities during this busy time. So you have a lot of food that you have to move, and so I imagine there's a lot that has to be sorted and a lot that has to be worked, put on trucks and that sort of thing. Can people volunteer in your warehouse?
They can. We have a volunteer coordinator. Her name is Sharon Rodriguez, and they can call her anytime after 7 o'clock today, as a matter of fact, and speak to her and find a volunteer opportunity. And people who are really ambitious, Aaron, they can do their own food drive, and they can even do an event on our behalf. Sometimes people think when they want to fundraise for an organization that they've got to do something huge, and raise hundreds of thousands of dollars. And we're appreciative of that, 14-year-old junior high student who goes out and maybe does a lemonade stand or does some yard work and gets his friends to pitch in and gathers up, $50, $60, $70. We oftentimes have people drop by our warehouse and say, I did a fundraiser for you. I didn't raise much, and hand us an envelope of cash. And it's so heartwarming, and it does make a difference. It goes immediately to getting food out in our community. So I would encourage people, not just to think of coming to our warehouse, but they can do things out in their community to raise some money and raise awareness that people in our area are going hungry every day.
So, Lori Butler, thank you so much for joining us today and for all the incredible work that you and Feeding America and the Inland Empire does. How do people get a hold of you, find you, and engage with Feeding America IE?
Well, the best way is to go to www.feedingamericaie.org, and people can donate. They can sign up to do a food drive, a virtual food drive, and they can learn, come to our gala that's coming up, purchase tickets or donate to that. We're trying to raise money right now for 1 million more meals to go out. I think of the difference we could make in the Inland Empire by getting 1 million more meals out there this year. So go to our website, www.feedingamericaie.org, and just get involved.
So when is the gala? That's usually in November, isn't it?
It is. It's always the weekend before Thanksgiving. Because we were reminded at that time that many of our families gather, and we're grateful, and we're giving blessing for the food that we have, and we want to do a big event that reminds people that there's another 425,000 people in our Inland Empire that are what we call food insecure, that we at Feeding America haven't been able to reach yet.
So how much are the tickets, and where is it going to be?
It is $160 per ticket, but it is going to be an elegant meal prepared by Chef Henry of Spoggies. Spoggies is in Upland, and our event is being held in Upland. Chef Henry will be there on site to prepare the meals. It's going to be at the La Villa Bella San Antonio in Upland. It's a historic building, and the theme this year is Under the Harvest Moon. So you can imagine part of our event is going to be outside under beautiful twinkling lights, and this year we have an inspirational speaker, a advocate for hunger named Jess Curdy, and Erin, she has gone to 200 food banks over the last few years, not only volunteered, but while she's there, she runs a 5K or a marathon and raises money for that food bank.
Wow.
I cannot wait to hear her incredible story.
Wow. Well, I can't wait either. You can go to feedingamericaie.org for more information. Lori Butler, thank you as always. It's been enlightening to have you on the show.
Oh, thank you, Erin.
So it's time for a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. We'll be right back.
Academy Junk and Trash Removal in San Bernardino reminds area employers that more local veterans will be returning home over the next few months. These heroes have elite military training and valuable professional skills. That's why Academy Junk and Trash Removal is urging all local businesses to hire smart and hire vets. That's from Academy Junk and Trash Removal in San Bernardino, where they are proudly saluting our veterans, those currently serving, and remembering the families of those who made the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom.
This is Dick from Carpet Masters. Carpet Masters has been serving the Inland Empire for over 55 years. Carpet Masters uses extraction cleaning for your carpet because there's no better cleaning to remove the soil from your carpet. All of our furniture cleaning is done by hand in your home or in our plant. Carpet Masters also offers dry cleaning for fine furniture. Call Carpet Masters at 793-7215. That's 793-7215 for Carpet Masters.
Hey Ryan, do you have any beer in the fridge?
Nah, I thought you got some.
The game starts in 5 minutes.
And you drank the last beer at midnight on Friday.
I wish there was a place that delivered beer.
Yes, I'm Captain Crafted. I'm here to bring you beer. That's Captain, C-R-A-F-T''D. Why? Because there's no E, just a D, as in deliver, because Captain Crafted delivers.
That's right, the Crafted Beer Store in Redlands is now open for business with great prices and deliveries of your favorite beer, wine, spirits, water, ice, and mixers. Did I mention their great prices? That's C-R-A-F-T''D B-E-E-R store.com or Fred Crafted Beer Store on Facebook.com. Make it easy. Google Redlands Beer Delivery. Look for Crafted Beer.
Crafted Beer Store in Redlands is now open for business, and I'm here to deliver.
This election, the voters in the 42nd Assembly District have an amazing chance to finally be represented in Sacramento by someone who listens and cares.
I'm Denny Antoinette Mazingo. Vote for me November 6th.
Denny will reach across the aisle to work with the majority in Sacramento and give voters the voice they've been waiting for and need.
I will advocate and fight for universal health care, a path from college to career free of debt, a healthy business environment with abundant well-paying jobs, affordable housing for all, safe schools and communities, a transition program for 18-year-old foster care children. Seniors have to choose monthly on what life necessities they can afford, and we're going to change that.
Denny's a former military lawyer, a JAG. She will fight for you in Sacramento. Google Denny, D-E-N-I.
I'm Denny Antoinette Mazingo. I approve this message.
Paid for by friends of Denny Antoinette Mazingo.
KCAA.
Permanent red, the glaze on my eyes. When I heard your voice, the distance caught me by surprise again. And I know.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
I'm Tobin Brinker.
We are on The Brink, the morning show on KCAA, playing a little Mumford & Sons here. So glad to have you with us. It's Friday. Yay. So excited that it's Friday. So Tobin, you have a story that it's really heartrending.
It is. You know, we were talking about food, and it got me thinking about this particular story because it's about a former Top Chef contestant, and Top Chef is one of my favorite cooking shows.
We love that show.
I do, and I just love food. And unfortunately, one of the former Top Chef contestants has just found out that she has about a year to live. Fatima Ali is her name, and
she's 29.
Yeah, and she appeared on season 15 of the Bravo reality competition, and she recently underwent surgery to remove a tumor in January. And on Tuesday, she wrote an essay for Bon Appetit magazine, saying that the cancer cells that her doctors believed that had vanished are back with a vengeance in her left hip and femur bone. Ali says that her oncologist told her that she has about a year to live, with or without the new chemotherapy regimen. She writes that she used to dream of owning her own restaurant, but now she has a growing list of restaurants to visit, and she's sketching a plan to eat her way through New York while she still can. And I got to thinking about this idea of mortality, and what do you do if you know that you've got this limited amount of time? And I like her approach, right? I mean, food is her passion, right? And the idea that she's going to go and eat, and but I wonder, if she's already had chemo and radiation, whatever, if she can taste the food. And I say this because I have a friend who recently went through this, and he said that it killed off his taste buds, and he's having a hard time gaining the weight back because, the food.
There's no joy in food.
There's no joy in food. Now,
well, she may elect not to do anymore.
Yeah.
She's saying she wants to eat her way through New York.
Yeah.
My guess is that that's not her. It's not the case right now, but she may elect not to do treatment. I mean, if you're going to die anyway, why go through the misery?
Exactly right. So anyway, I thought this was kind of a fascinating story because it gets us thinking about what would you do if you had limited time. So Erin, what would be the things on your list? What would you feel like if you had a year to go? What would you do?
I would grab as much family who wanted to go, and I would go to Alaska.
Yeah.
I would go to Iceland. I would go to Ireland, and the UK. And so for me, it would be about travel and about being around people who I love. Yeah. So it would have to, that we because of our involvement with the AFS, with the Exchange Student Organization, we have people we love all over the world.
Yeah.
And we've been so blessed by that. But they're people I haven't seen in a long time that I would want to see and connect with. I'd want to go to South America and see all of the kids that we've hosted. I'd want to go to, there's many parts of Europe where we've hosted kids. I want to go back to Austria. I want to go to Australia and meet the Weatherly family. We're friends on Facebook, but your host family, I've never, I've met Michael, but I haven't met everybody else.
I would love to take you there. They would love you so much more than they like me. You're so cool. So it would be awesome.
And I know that that for me it would all be because we're experienced people. We're not when we collect stuff, but it's never like we don't have to have the bet. We drive old cars, we don't care.
Yeah.
We bought a starter home and we're still in it. That's just not who we are. We're about the people around us. How about you? What would you do?
So my problem is I've got so many interests, right? So many things. I think I would spend a lot of time writing because I've got a lot of stuff that I want to say, and I've always had this feeling like I need to leave my mark, right? And so I'd want to write these stories that I've got in my head, and I've got a lot of stuff, fiction, nonfiction, you name it. So I'd spend some time writing, but I'm with you. I mean, I would be traveling and spending time with friends and family, and then I guess the third thing that's been on my heart is that since I got physically active and I've been doing this running and all these things, is that I would want to set like the biggest, most hairiest goal that I could while I'm still healthy, and go do it. To have that one final sort of big accomplishment.
Are you going to run to Texas?
I don't know. Forrest Gump, right? Run across the USA. I mean, I've seen people do it, and I don't know that I'm that guy, but the idea of it, it's appealing, right? To say I did that.
Well, I could do a road trip, but in my car.
Yeah, you could be my crew. You'd be the person, make sure I didn't get run over on the side of the road somewhere. And
if you did it on a bike, I'd be game.
Yeah.
But I don't know that. Yeah, I mean, sure, do it on a bike. It goes faster. Because running is hard on your body.
Running is very hard on your body. Yeah, but I don't know. And it's kind of you and I also play this game sometimes, and the lottery's super big, and we play this game of what if you win the lottery, But this is kind of a different version of that game. What if you only had a year to live, And it really focuses you, I think. If you think about the stuff that really matters to you, what are the things that are really, that important that you feel like you've got to do these things before you run out of time,
Yeah.
And so when I saw this story, and I don't even really remember this particular contestant from Top Chef, it spoke to me. It spoke to me. And honestly, her goal of eating her way through New York, I could see spending a lot of time going and eating some really good meals. I mean, seriously.
Well, we like to eat.
We do, and there's some really cool restaurants out there, and I would love to just go explore.
And we love trying new places, and we prefer going to locally owned places, and we love food from all over the world. And so, that's another thing. I want to go to Nice, and I want to eat French food. And I want to go to Barcelona, and I want to have Spanish food.
So our son and his new wife are both foodies, and I would love to just go and have some of those experiences with them. I think about the different people in our lives and what they do, and trying to find experiences for each one.
Oh yeah.
To go and do stuff.
We shouldn't wait until we're about to die.
Right?
We should just make that happen. That's a good goal.
There we go.
That's a good goal.
Okay.
So with that, kind of marinate on that this weekend. We are at the end of our show for today. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on The Brink, the morning show on KCAA. Have a great weekend, everyone.
What you drinking? Rum or whiskey? Now won't you have a double with me? I'm sorry I'm a little late. I got your message, by the way. I'm calling in sick today, so let's go round for old time's sake. I'll never forget you. They said we
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM.
I'm Chuck Kamlick, CNBC. Big banks are bigger than ever, making more money than ever, too. J.P. Morgan Chase cleared $8 billion last quarter. Wells Fargo's profits topped $6 billion. Citi netted $4.5 billion. All three banks were helped by lower taxes and higher interest rates. Thanks to banks, stocks will rise today. Dow futures up about 270 points right now. Activision Blizzard's hot game, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, is out right now, online and in stores. Tesla says if you order a car this weekend, you'll still get the $7,500 federal tax credit. But after this, that will be cut in half until the credit goes away entirely. Chick-fil-A opening 2 stores that don't have dining rooms or drive-thrus. Instead, they'll focus on deliveries and catering and no cash, just debit, credit, and app payments. Lindsey Buckingham suing Fleetwood Mac for kicking him out and making him go his own way. He claims he'll lose $12 million by not being in the band's new tour. Chuck Kamlick, CNBC.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a SelectQuote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I shopped the many highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $27 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 800-445-6363. That's 800-445-6363. 800-445-6363. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.